When people look at Jinx, most only see a madwoman holding a variety of deadly weapons. She is a symbol of chaos, destruction, and fear. The name Jinx has become a nightmare for Piltover, for those in power, and even for innocent citizens. But few remember that before she became Jinx, she was an innocent girl from Zaun, a creative mind with huge ideas, but one who was always rejected by society and never found a place to belong. The story of Jinx is a painful journey, from a war orphan living in the underground city filled with crime, to a living nightmare of Piltover, bringing destructive pranks, schemes, and betrayal. This story is also a journey to explore the pain, disappointment, and eventually madness, all of which stem from a troubled and harsh childhood. Powder, the innocent young girl with bright eyes, sat alone in a dark room, quietly dismantling scraps of old devices she found on the streets of Zaun. She was crafting small gadgets, from makeshift radios to homemade bombs. Even though she was immersed in these projects, no one around her recognized her talents. Under the dim light of Chemtech lamps, Powder gazed out the window, dreaming of a different world, one where she could be respected and seen as someone of value. Vi, Powder's older sister, always protected her in every situation. However, no matter how hard Vi tried to help Powder fit in with the dangerous jobs, Powder felt she could never be strong enough to be a real part of the team. Milo and Clagger, two members of Vi's crew, constantly criticized Powder for not being able to fight, not being as skilled as they were. Powder couldn't fight like Vi, nor could she be as clever as Milo and Clagger. She wanted to help in her own way, by creating strange gadgets and bombs, but she was never truly accepted. Powder looked up at the dark sky, with the bright lights of Piltover shining far in the distance. The city that promised everything she longed for seemed so far away, almost like a dream. She knew that despite how much she dreamed, she was stuck in Zaun, a city where there was no place for someone like her. But that dream still burned brightly in her eyes, full of desire and hopelessness. One day, during a bloody raid Powder witnessed, the death of her parents who were killed in the ongoing war. Their deaths shattered everything in her mind. The confusion, pain, and fear of being left alone in a world filled with violence and crime began to take over her thoughts. The feeling of being worthless became her worst nightmare. Vi, always there to protect Powder, took her along on jobs, hoping to make her independent. But the more Powder went with Vi, the more she realized she couldn't help as Vi did. On one mission, Vi abandoned Powder, telling her she wasn't ready. The words, "You're not ready," felt like a knife cutting into Powder's heart. From that moment, Powder began to feel useless, afraid of being left behind alone in the world. When Vi left her behind on a mission to rescue Vander, Powder felt deep betrayal. For her, being abandoned was the worst nightmare come true. She couldn't focus on anything else but the fact that she wasn't good enough, that she wasn't worthy of Vi's love and the love of those around her. That was when everything began to change. Powder started to act on her own, doing extreme things to prove she had value. One day, after detonating one of her homemade bombs, Powder didn't feel fear but a strange sense of joy. The feeling that she could finally do something big made her proud. That moment led her to rename herself Jinx, a name symbolizing the chaos she was bringing into the world. Jinx began her journey, not just with harmless pranks but with destructive actions. She released wild animals into Piltover, causing chaos and panic among the citizens. She then placed flame chompers, small bombs shaped like smiling faces, on the city's bridges, obstructing trade and causing weeks of disruption. Not only did Jinx cause chaos, but she also began to carve her name into every case with her defiant graffiti. She not only mocked the wealthy merchants of Piltover, but also publicly declared her plans, including robbing the ecliptic vaults. Every act was a challenge, a message sent to those in power. When Jinx carried out the ecliptic vaults heist, the guards of Piltover, including Vi and Caitlin, prepared a perfect trap to catch her. However, Jinx, unexpectedly, had already sneaked into the vault via a large crate of money she had planted earlier. When the sounds of chaos erupted from inside, Vi and the guards realized they had been tricked again. The vault was now nothing but rubble, and Jinx was nowhere to be found, vanishing like a shadow. Jinx continued her rampage across Piltover, inspiring other chempunk gangs and triggering other heists. Her fame spread like wildfire, and people began to ask whether she was a hero or just a dangerous lunatic. Jinx, after years of living in darkness and chaos, was taken in by Silco, the leader of Zaun. Under Silco's protection, Jinx slowly changed. Silco loved her, understood the pain and trauma she had endured. But this love was also manipulative, as Silco tried to erase Powder's past and make her a weapon, using her as a tool to further his own goals. Silco encouraged Jinx to abandon Powder, because Jinx is perfect. He wanted her to become part of Zaun and carry out great plans. However, no matter what Silco said, Jinx couldn't forget Vi, the sister she had always longed for acceptance from. The feeling of being abandoned still haunted her, and her relationship with Silco became complicated as she didn't know who to trust. When Jinx faced Vi again in a reunion, she felt the changes in herself. The hallucinations and psychological breakdowns made it hard for her to accept the truth about who she had become. She asked Vi, "Are you real?" In that moment, Jinx couldn't accept that she had changed so much, and Vi couldn't see her as the girl she once was. Jinx faced the difficult choice between Silco and Vi. The love, recognition, and protection Silco gave her weren't enough to make her forget the sister she had always loved. During a meeting with Vi, Jinx's hallucinations and psychological turmoil became more intense. She couldn't distinguish between those who truly loved her and those who were manipulating her. Finally, Jinx realized she couldn't escape her past. Even though she had changed, she was still Powder in her heart, a girl yearning for love and recognition. But could she ever find what she had lost, or would she forever be the one causing chaos, never belonging anywhere? Jinx, although she had become a living legend, still couldn't escape the hallucinations and turmoil within her mind. Her ultimate goal remained unclear, but one thing was certain: she would continue to bring chaos, and no one could predict her next move.